Hello, welcome to Chabot News for March 6th, 2025. My name is Evan Netto, and today we'll be covering a shooting that occurred in Hayward, flood relief funding for Kentucky, and students rebuilding their communities after Hurricane Helene. In entertainment news, Enrique Peña-Ponce will tell you about Zendaya joining the 5th installment of Shrek. And finally, in sports news, Cole Wagner has the latest updates on Travis Kelce hitting the gridiron once again. All that and more coming up in today's edition of Chabot News. Four people are recovering after a violent shooting outside of a popular restaurant in Hayward. The incident took place in the parking lot of Grill by Miss G, leaving the community on edge. Witnesses described the chaotic scene as shots rang out, forcing people to flee in panic. One local resident said that it all happened so fast that they didn't know what was going on until they heard the sirens. At this point, police have not shared any information on possible suspects or a motive, but they're actively investigating the incident. No arrests have been made, and authorities are asking anyone with information to come forward. The U.S. is halting plans to house migrants in tent structures at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, amid concerns that they don't meet detention standards. Last month, the Trump administration said it would be building tent structures at the U.S. base to house an anticipated 30,000 migrants. However, sources say the tents lack air conditioning and electricity, which are required by immigration and customs enforcement. Sources also say there haven't been enough people transferred to the base to justify building more. Migrants are still being placed in the detention facility on the base. Last week, more than 170 migrants were flown from the base to Venezuela, nearly emptying Guantanamo. A new study linking the use of 6 muscle-building supplements to symptoms of body dysmorphia in teens has released. The study's authors found that substances like whey protein powder, creatine products, and other supplements were often taken by teens trying to gain muscle. There was also a pattern of excessive gym time and obsessing over food intake. Researchers say the study is observational, meaning it's hard to say whether the use of supplements increased the symptoms of muscle dysmorphia, or whether people with muscle dysmorphia symptoms were more likely to take bodybuilding supplements. The study also shows that people may be using supplements in place of anabolic steroids, which have been found to be harmful. But the authors point out that not all supplements are safe. The study was published in the journal PLOS Mental Health. And now we go to this week's Top 5 with our reporter, Jasmine Bester.
Thanks, Evan. For this week's Top 5, I'm going to go over some animated TV shows and films. At number 5, we have Over the Hedge, an underrated gem about animals trying to survive day to day. The main character of the film is a raccoon voiced by Bruce Willis, whose mission is to replace food he attempted to steal from Vincent the Bear, voiced by Nick Nolte. Next up is Archer, a cartoon following a team of spies that navigate dangerous missions. Archer ran for a whopping 14 seasons, and you can catch episodes on FX, Hulu, and Netflix. A webisode and film series that spanned for 6 years goes to the number 3 slot, My Scene. My Scene focuses on Barbie and her close friends that navigate everyday situations such as their friendships, love life, partying, and fashion. The number 2 spot goes to The Princess and the Frog. This animation follows a young woman by the name of Tiana, who has dreams of opening up her own restaurant. Those dreams don't come to her as easy, considering the fact that she gets turned into a frog after kissing one. And finally, Intergalactic takes the number 1 spot. Kid Cudi voices the character of an artist who tries balancing his career while moving into his new apartment and falling in love with his neighbor. The illustration really caught my eye when watching this film. Kid Cudi announced on social media that there more than likely will not be a part 2 to Intergalactic, but he does have plans to work in animation in the future. And that's all for this week's Top 5. I'm Jasmine Bester. Now back to you, Evan.
Thanks, Jasmine. President Trump approved a major disaster declaration for Kentucky following an initial emergency declaration last week. It comes in the wake of deadly flooding amid freezing temperatures earlier this month. The president's action will make federal funding available for people in impacted areas. The assistance can include grants for temporary housing and other programs to help people and businesses recover. Federal funding will also be made available to the state and local governments and certain nonprofit organizations. And now we have entertainment news with Enrique Peña-Ponce.
Thanks, Evan. Lawyers for Sean Diddy Combs have asked the judge to throw out evidence taken from a search of Combs' homes and his electronic devices. The lawyers allege prosecutors misled and withheld crucial information from the judge who approved the search warrants. The motion is the latest attempt by Combs' legal team to challenge the government's case. The music mogul is currently jailed in New York after he was arrested last September. He is facing a number of charges that include sex trafficking and racketeering. Combs has pleaded not guilty. He is set to go on trial in May. Shrek, Fiona, Donkey, and the crew are coming back to the big screen next year. A popular Jolly Green Ogre is coming back to the big screen with a new character. Universal Pictures has released a teaser of the 5th installment of the Shrek series. Mike Myers will once again voice the titular character, with Cameron Diaz and Eddie Murphy also returning for their roles as Fiona and Donkey. And this time, Bay Area native Zendaya will be joining the fun playing Shrek and Fiona's daughter. The first Shrek film debuted in 2001 and ended up winning an Oscar for Best Animated Film. Shrek 5 is expected to hit theaters in December of 2026. That's it for entertainment news. I'm Enrique Peña-Ponce. Now back to you, Evan.
Thanks, Enrique. The Department of Education is offering a buyout of up to $25,000 to many of its employees. An email from the agency's top human resources official states employees have until Monday at 11:59 p.m. to decide if they want to accept the one-time offer. The email says the offer is in advance of, quote, a very significant reduction in force. Eligible employees include those who have worked for the federal government for at least 3 years. They also cannot have received a student loan repayment benefit in the last 3 years. The resignations would take effect at the end of the month. The offer comes as the Republican-controlled Senate is set to vote on the nomination of Linda McMahon as Education Secretary. We sent our reporter, Christian Gonzalez, out onto campus to ask students what they think about the Trump administration's cuts to the Department of Education.
It's a really bad thing because that means there's less and less funds that are going into schools for professors to be getting paid, for courses to be maintained.
That's just gonna destroy the entire system and cause mass illiteracy.
It's bad. We need to be informed. I see it like this. We can be informed so we can choose our president or politicians to make this country great.
Thanks, Christian. It seems many students are still concerned with the cuts made to the Department of Education. Yancey County was one of the hardest hit areas after Hurricane Helene, and the rebuilding process has been estimated to take years. But a group of high school seniors are working to help their community get back on its feet. Taylor Thompson has more.
Cut a 7 3/8 by 7 3/8 piece. After the flood, we knew that our program was in a rare opportunity to really be able to help.
Inside of Jeremy Dott's carpentry class at Mountain Heritage High School.
I've never built a house until now.
You'll see a group of students working on a project they didn't originally anticipate.
I do one there, one there, one there.
Dott says that within 2 weeks of the storm, they were looking for any sort of grant to get the funds they needed to help. It wasn't until late November when that help arrived from the foundation Rebuilding Haulers.
I just started making sure as donations came in that we were putting money aside to make sure we could fund this as well for the materials so they could start building.
And that's what you're seeing taking place. We're able to mass produce a floor system, wall systems relatively quick because we're in a facility that's heated and comfortable and we can control the environment.
These 18 seniors are hoping that these tiny homes will have a big impact on this community.
It's about 670 square feet. It's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath house with a loft.
I take a lot of pride in this, helping people for my community.
But our measurement is sitting at 184 1/8.
Dott says in his 15 years of teaching, he never saw this coming.
But I'm going to tell you something, I'm glad I'm here to be a part of it.
With years of rebuilding ahead, Dott says their goal is to build 2 to 4 homes a year for victims.
What we're doing here is just a small portion.
With a big meaning.
Not many people get this opportunity. It's pretty cool to have the chance to do it.
They hope to have the first home completed by the end of this semester.
Thanks, Taylor. It's very impressive to see that local high school students are helping to build houses to help their community after last year's severe flooding. And now we go to sports news with Cole Wagner.
Thanks, Evan. Travis Kelce is back for more Chiefs football. Fans have been speculating if he was going to retire, but according to an NFL Network report, the Kansas City Chiefs star is expected to return to action for another season, his 13th. The 10-time Pro Bowl tight end has one more year in his contract. Last November, the 35-year-old Kelce speculated that his injuries might push him into retirement. Kelce's return will no doubt help the Chiefs try to bounce back after the team's embarrassing Super Bowl loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Kansas City Chiefs have been a highly prolific team for the past few seasons. We sent our reporter Evan Netto out to figure out if their notoriety has left Chabot students with a positive or negative impression.
You know, they're great. They made it to the Super Bowl, and I don't have much else to say.
They costed me $40. I hate Patrick Mahomes. I hate Patrick Mahomes, and that's really it. I mean, I really just don't like Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelce's, he's garbage anyway.
Oh, I don't like them. Like, when I was in Texas, literally, I would see Chiefs fans a lot, and I'm like, bro, nah, y'all are L's.
The Eagles, I hate you too because you made me lose the money. Jalen Hurts, I really don't like you. Cut your beard off, buddy.
Thanks, Evan. The Chiefs have made it to 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls, which explains why they're so well known around campus. Some people have hoop dreams. For others, it's just enough to be involved in the sport they love. Samantha Reed introduces us to a very special coach.
As the varsity girls basketball team at North Kingstown High School heads to the division semifinals Friday, there's no such thing as a day off.
There we go.
Fortunately for the Skippers, the last few years have been successful.
We have a very similar team from last year.
But this year, there's an added addition.
Keep talking here.
It's just exciting to be one of his players.
Who never skips a day.
Stuck on defense.
6 days out of 7, he's here.
And anyone on the team would tell you he's the definition of dedicated.
Come on, keep it up, let's go.
42-year-old Jacob Jones of West Warwick is the assistant coach.
I've known Bob for years, and he has said in the past that if I ever wanted to come down, it's more than welcome, so I just kind of reached out.
A familiar face to high school basketball teams all around Rhode Island. For the last 15 years, he's been on this side of things.
Come on here. I never really progressed as a player, and I did try out for my middle school and high school teams there, but never made the cut.
Coach Jake, as they call him, has lent a helping hand to high schools for more than a decade.
Ooh, nice job, Fanola.
And when I say helping, that's because for him, it's all volunteer.
He never once questions about money. He never once questions about the dedication and time it takes.
He's at every practice and every game.
He has brought so much good energy to our team that we've kind of just fueled off of.
If it's got to do with his girls in basketball, he's there. And while we all struggle with certain things, Coach Jake realizes he's in charge of his happiness, and this home court is just that.
I don't have that many friends, and I'm unemployed personally, so it just gives me a sense of self.
Come on here.
In fact, this guy goes above and beyond. So for Christmas, he used whatever money he had saved to buy each player a gift card. And for Valentine's Day, to show them some love, he made them each a handwritten card.
I like helping people, doing nice things for people, having them feel good.
While we're all dealt a different playbook in life, it's how we execute it that can leave a lasting impression.
There we go.
And for this team, his love for the game and them is rare.
To find someone like him is a diamond in the rough.
And though their record is important, the lessons learned mean more than the score.
Coaches always try to be there for you, but I think Coach Jake just went the extra mile because I think he thinks we're his family and we are.
The North Kingston girls basketball team took the court to play in the division semifinals on February 28th. That's all for this week's sports news. I'm Cole Wagner. Now back to you, Evan.
Thanks, Cole. With the recent FDA delays in approving health claims for food products, there has been recent buzz about what we consider healthy in food. The new standards for labeling a food as healthy have been pushed back. Late last year, the Food and Drug Administration updated the nutritional requirements for a product to be described as healthy on its packaging. The update was scheduled to go into effect on Tuesday, but last month, President Donald Trump issued a pause on new rules. As a result, the FDA says the new rule will start about 2 months from now on April 28th. The new requirements include a limit on added sugars and sodium. Food companies have until 2028 to update their products if they want to use the healthy label. In the end, we hope the FDA can reach a final decision because we should all be able to trust the food we eat, and clear labeling could be a step in the right direction. President Donald Trump said the U.S. will be reversing concessions on an oil transaction agreement made with Venezuela under the Biden administration. Trump cited unmet electoral conditions by authoritarian President Nicolas Maduro. President Trump also noted a dissatisfaction with the pace of transporting undocumented Venezuelans back to their home country. Trump does not explicitly mention Chevron, but the Biden administration had authorized the oil company to resume limited natural resource extractions operation in Venezuela. The Biden administration's license was part of its efforts to ease restrictions on certain financial transactions involving Venezuela, particularly in the oil sector. Trump says this authorization will be terminated instead of a normal renewal next month. Venezuela's vice president said the sanctions against Chevron hurt the U.S. and calls into question the legal security of the U.S. international investment regime. That's all for Chabot News this week. Thanks to all the students and staff of the Mass Communications Department here at Chabot College for making this production possible. You can watch us anytime online at youtube.com/ChabotTV. Stay tuned to KCTH Channel 27 on Comcast for more Chabot TV.